Hi there. Today's book is Soldering On, which is the story of Al Brosnan and Duke Henry, and it was written in cooperation with Bob Taubert, who you may remember was an FBI firearms instructor who wrote the book Rappenkrieg, which we reviewed. So Al Brosnan and Duke Henry met while they were both serving in the New Zealand Army, and they had both decided to take selection for New Zealand SAS. So the book covers their early army career, but then they detail the different phases of the SAS process. So before the selection even starts, they have a psych board, unlike the British SAS, a medical board where the slightest kind of physical defect will bin you. However, you then can return to your normal unit and continue with your military career. And then they have a mental agility test. Well, they don't actually have the test. The test is one that's given to every recruit before they join the military, and the results of that determine whether you're going to be eligible for the SAS. If you're not in the top third, then they won't allow you to even attempt selection. And as the authors of the book say, there's no allowance made for any subsequent maturity to accrue. Then there is a pre-selection phase which lasts for 10 days. Correction, 2 weeks. Then there is the actual selection, which is for 10 days, and then there is a 7-month operational training cycle. Other things like parachute course and so on. So in fact, the process, the actual physical process, starts with a parachute course, unlike again British SAS, which comes after selection. So after the parachute course, they have this 2-week pre-selection build-up where it's a lot of map reading and a lot of route marching. One of the guys that was prominent in the unit at the time was Phil Cairns, and he later went to South Africa, joined their military, and then to Oman, and he's mentioned quite a bit in the book. So during this pre-selection phase, they are very restricted rations, and in the 10 days they probably have 3 24-hour ration packs total to eat. So having passed that, they go into selection proper, which probably I would say equates to test week in the British system, although it's 10 days. And on day 3 they do what's called the infested swamp, or the detested swamp, where they have to spend 24 hours navigating through the swamps, which there's all tangled debris underfoot and so on, and you're waist high in water, and it simulates the kind of things that you're likely to encounter in Southeast Asia operating. So they do that as a 4-man team, also carrying all the kit, bergens and so on, and with a number of full jerry cans. And then the selection culminates with a 60-60. It's 60 pounds, 60 kilometers endurance phase. After that, 7-month operation training cycle, all the usual special forces skills, meds, comms, weapons training, small unit tactics, counter-terrorism, etc. So they both go to the squadrons and have a career, um, probably about 10 years each in the SAS. And it comes to an end when David Lang is elected Prime Minister. And he was totally against the military, totally against. He's the guy who declared New Zealand to be a nuclear-free area and all this. And the unit as a whole didn't like his premiership, and several of the members, including the two authors, left, and they went to the United States. And initially, Alan was involved in VIP protection in the Los Angeles area, and also involved in training for a company over there. And he expanded this out. He formed his own company, Tactical Explosive Entry School. He identified a bit of a niche in the market that a lot of the SWAT teams didn't have really high level method of entry, particularly explosive entry. And having done that in the SAS, he started teaching it. And he also started working for the Sheriff's Department, DeSoto County Sheriff's Department, as an actual deputy in the SWAT team. And again, doing things like explosive entry where required. Meanwhile, Duke was off in various places around the world, private military contracting, but then they joined up later and worked together in the United States and in places like Brazil and the Philippines. International VIP protection, this kind of thing. Alan had been in charge of VIP protection in the SAS, and he had actually trained with John McAleish, who came over from Hereford, and they later actually worked together on the scene, on the circuit, together with Rusty Fairman and some of the other guys. So altogether, it's a really good insight into both the New Zealand SAS and into international training and operational VIP protection, and two real characters as well, and terrific book. And I'll put the link where you can order it. I think you can only get it through Amazon.com. I didn't see it on Amazon UK.